Good afternoon. What brings you here this fine spring day?
I've just come to see if you've decided to publish Father's book.
We're still thinking about that.
It would please him very much, I'm sure.
No doubt. But I have a proposal for a number of members of the Alcott household.
Me?
You know, your stories are nice, and your editing on magazines has been quite valuable. But what I think we truly need here is something quite new.
How do you mean?
Yes, something quite new. You've heard of the Oliver Optic books, I take it.
Of course, novels for boys.
They're selling in the thousands. Why, the public can't get enough of them. I see hundreds of them shipped right next door at Lee and Shepherd. And what I was thinking was, well, why don't you try writing a story about girls?
Why? I don't know anything about girls. Besides, I prefer boys.
You must know something about girls. You grew up in a house full of them. That story of yours in a Mary's Museum. What was it called? A Merry Christmas. That was about you and your sisters, right?
Yes.
So start from there.
I am getting tired of writing those flirts and chasing stories, but they pay the rent. I'll give them up when something pays better.
Now that's what I'm looking for. I think a girl's story might be just the thing.
How would, say, 5 chapters?
I could use 24.
What?
Lou, we need books. I know you're writing, and it's good. Take a trial, please.
Well, a simple book.
Yes.
With no ideas in it, only facts. And the people shall be as ordinary as possible.
Of course. Just start with your sisters and you.
I suppose our queer plays and experiences may prove interesting.
Certainly.
Though I doubt it.
When your father was here, he said, the literature of childhood has not yet been written.
Yes, he said that to us years ago.
Well, I'm asking you to write its first volume.
I'll try.
Thank you.
Well, I know something about girls. Certain girls, anyway. 4 sisters, knitting away in the twilight, while December snow falls quietly without, and a fire crackles cheerfully within. Yes, yes!
Mother didn't say anything about her own money. Let's each buy what we want and have a little fun. I'm sure we work hard enough for it.
I know I do, teaching those tiresome king children nearly all day, when I'm longing to enjoy myself at home.
Well, you don't have half such a hard time as I do. How would you like to be shut up for hours with a nervous, fussy old lady like Aunt March?
I think washing dishes and keeping things tidy is some of the worst work in the world. It makes my hands so rough that I can't practice the piano.
I don't believe any of you suffer as I do. For you don't have to go to school with impertinent girls who plague you if you don't know your lessons, and label your father if he isn't rich, and insult you when your nose isn't nice.
You mean libel, I'd say so. Not talk about labels as if Papa was a pickle bottle.
I know what I mean, Joe, and you needn't be satirical about it.
Satirical?
Don't you wish we had the money Papa lost when we were little, Joe? Dear me, how happy and good we'd be.
You said the other day you thought we were a deal happier than the king children, for they fight and fret all the time, in spite of their money.
So I did then. Well, though we do have to work, we're a pretty jolly set, as Joe would say.
Joe does use such slang words. Oh, don't do that, Joe. It's so boyish.
That's why I do it.
I detest rude, unladylike girls.
I hate affected nimmity-pimmity tits.
Birds in their little nests agree.
Really, Josephine, you are old enough to put off boyish tricks and behave better. Remember, you're a young lady.
I'm not. I hate to think that I've got to grow up to be Miss March. When I like boys' games and work and manners. Can't get over my disappointment in not being a boy.
Poor Joe. It's too bad, but it can't be helped. So you must try and be contented with making your name boyish and playing brother to us girls.
As for you, Amy, you are altogether too particular and prim. Your airs are funny now, but you'll grow up to be an affected little goose if you don't take care.
If Joe is a tomboy and Amy a goose, then what am I, please?
You're a dear and nothing else.
These slippers are quite worn out. Marmee must have a new pair.
I thought I'd get her some with my dollar.
No, I will.
I'm the oldest.
I'm the man of the family now that Papa is away. I'll provide the slippers.
Why don't we each get her something for Christmas and not get anything for ourselves?
It's like you, Beth. What will we get?
I'll give her a nice pair of gloves.
Oh, army shoes, best to be had.
Some handkerchiefs, all hem.
A little bottle of cologne.
How will we give the things?
Let Marmee think that we're getting things for ourselves, and then surprise her. We'll have to go shopping tomorrow afternoon, Meg. Oh, when there's so much to do about the play for Christmas night!
I don't mean to act anymore after this time. I'm getting too old for such things.
But we're the best actors that we've got. There'll be an end of everything if with the boards. We ought to rehearse tonight. Can we arrange to do the fainting scene? You're as sleek as a poker with that.
I can't help it. I never saw anyone faint, and I don't choose to make myself all black and blue. I don't care if Hugo does come at me with a pistol.
Okay, do it this way. Clasp your hands so, and stagger across the room crying frantically, Rodrigo, save me, save me!
Rodrigo, do save me! Ouch!
No use. Do the best you can when the time comes, but if the audience laughs, don't blame me. Come on, Meg. I need thee, minion. Hither from thy home. Airy sprite, I bid thee come. Bring me here with elven speed the fragrant pither which I'll need.
Hither I come from my airy home, afar in the silver moon. Take the spell and use it well, or its power will vanish soon.
Ha-ha! Hagar! We're betrayed! Yes, Hugo! You're there! Captives to their cells! Curtain!
I don't see how you can write and act such splendid things, Joe. You're a regular Shakespeare.
Not quite. I do think The Witch's Curse, an operatic tragedy, is a rather nice thing, but I'd like to try Macbeth. Is that a dagger I see before me?
And that one is so very kind, dear. Well, dears, how have you gone on today? How was your cold, Meg?
Better.
Has anyone called back?
No.
Joe, you look tired to death. Come and kiss me, baby. I've got a treat for you.
A letter! 3 cheers for father!
Yes, a nice long letter. He's well, and sends loving wishes for Christmas, and a special message to girls.
I think it was so splendid of father to go as a chaplain when he was too old to be drafted.
Don't I wish I could go as a drummer, a Vivian, what's his name? Or a nurse, so I could be near him and help him.
But it must be very disagreeable to sleep in a tent and drink out of a tin mug.
When will he come home, Marmee?
Not for many months, dear. Unless he's sick. He'll stay and do his work faithfully. Now come and hear the letter. Give them all my dear love and a kiss. Tell them I think of them by day, pray for them by night, and find my best comfort in their affection at all times. A year seems very long to wait, but I know they'll remember all I said to them, that they'll be loving children to you, will do their duty faithfully, fight their bosom enemies bravely, and conquer themselves so beautifully that when I come back to them, I may be fonder and prouder than ever of my little woman.
I am a selfish girl, but I'll truly try to be better, so he mayn't be disappointed in me by and by.
We all will. I think too much of my looks and hate to work, but I won't anymore if I can help it.
I'll try to be what he loves to call me, the little woman. Not be so rough and wild, but do my duty faithfully here instead of wanting to be somewhere else.
Do you remember when you used to play Pilgrim's Progress when you were little things? Nothing delighted you more than having to tie my piece bags on your backs for burdens, give you hats and sticks and rolls of paper, and let you travel up from the cellar, which was a city of destruction, up to the housetop where you had all the lovely things to make a celestial city.
What fun it was! I liked the part where we went by the lions and passed in the valley where the hobgoblins were.
I liked the place where the bundles fell off and tumbled down the stairs.
I don't remember much about it, except I was afraid of the cellar, and I liked the milk we had at the top. If I wasn't too old for such things, I'd rather like to play it over again.
We're never too old for this, my dear, because of the play we're playing in one way or another. Now, my little pilgrims, suppose you begin again. Not a play, but an earnest, and see how far on you can get before father comes home.
Really, Mother? Where are our bundles?
Until you told what your burden was, just now. Except Beth, I rather think she hasn't got any.
Yes, I have. Mine is dishes and dusters, and being afraid of people.
Let's do it. It's only another name for trying to be good, and the story may help us.
We were in the slough of despond tonight, but Mother helped us and pulled us out like Help did in the book. We ought to have a roll of directions, like Christian. What do we do about that?
Look under your pillows Christmas morning, and you'll find your guidebook.
And your mom went straight off to see what was needed.
Well, she'll be back soon, I think, so fry your cakes and have everything ready. Let's get her present ready. Why, Amy, what happened to your little bottle of cologne?
I changed the little bottle for a big one. I'm truly trying not to be selfish anymore.
You're a trump, Amy.
My handkerchiefs look nice, don't they?
Yes, they'll please her very much, I'm sure.
Strangle Beth! Open the door, Amy! She's coming! 3 cheers for Marvin!
Girls, everything looks so lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you for our books. We read some and mean to every day.
Merry Christmas to you too, little daughters. I'm glad you began at once and hope you'll be fond.
Breakfast is ready.
Oh, perfect. I'm starved.
Girls, before we sit down, I want to say one word. Not far from here lives a poor woman with a newborn baby and 6 children huddled in one bed to keep from freezing, for they have no fire and nothing to eat. My girls, will you give them your breakfast as a Christmas present?
I'm so glad you came before we began.
May I go and help bring the things to the poor little children?
I'll take the cream and muffins.
That's loving our neighbor better than ourselves, and I like it.
I thought you'd do it.
What will we wear?
What's the use of asking that when you know we're on Poplins? Because we haven't got anything else?
Well, whatever you do, don't stare, or put your hands behind your back, or shake hands, or say Christopher Columbus, will you?
Don't worry about me. I'll be as prim as I can.
Joe, don't forget to keep the burnt part of your dress out of sight. Oh dear. Is my sash right? And does my hair look very bad?
Oh, how do you learn all the proper ways? I never can. Isn't that music gay? Dear me! I didn't know anyone was here.
Don't mind me. Stay if you like.
Won't I disturb you?
Not a bit. I only came here because I don't know very many people and felt rather strange at first. You know.
So did I. Oh, don't go away, please. Unless you'd rather. I think I've had the pleasure of seeing you before. You live near us, don't you?
Yes, next door. How do you do, Miss March?
Nicely, Mr. Lawrence, but I'm not Miss March. I'm only Joe.
I'm not Mr. Lawrence. I'm only Laurie.
Laurie Lawrence. What an odd name.
Well, my first name is Theodore, but I don't like it, for the fellas call me Dora, so I made them say Laurie instead.
I hate my name too. So sentimental. I wish everyone would say Joe instead of Josephine. How did you get the boys to stop calling you Dora?
I thrashed them.
I can't thrash out March, so I suppose I'll have to bear it.
Don't you like to dance, Miss Jo?
I like it well enough if everyone is lively, but in a place like this, sure to upset something. So I keep out of mischief and I let Meg sail about. Don't you dance?
Sometimes. But you see, I've been abroad a good many years, and I haven't been into company yet enough to know how to do things around here.
Oh, abroad? Oh, tell me of it! Did you go to Paris?
We spent last winter there.
Can you talk French?
We weren't allowed to speak anything else for the bay.
That's a splendid reel. Why don't you go and try it?
Only if you'll come too.
I can't.
Why not?
Well, you see, I have a bad trick of standing before the fire, and I always scorch my crocks, and I burn this one.
Don't mind that. I'll tell you how we can manage. There's a long hall out there. We can dance grand. No one will see us. Please come.
Joe,
Oh, thanks!
I've sprained my ankle. Oh, that stupid high heel turned and gave me a sad wrench. It aches so I can hardly stand, and I don't know how I'm ever going to get home. Oh,
I knew you hurt your feet with those silly shoes. I don't see what you can do, except get a carriage or stay here all night.
If you please, I'll be glad to take you back to my grandfather's carriage. It just come from me.
oh no, we'll manage. Well, yes, thank you.
yourself with?
Nothing. Just dolls' tombs up here.
Well, now I'm here, but I'm not supposed to stay too long, as to not tire you out. But Mother sends her love, and Meg wanted me to bring some of her blancmange. She makes it very nicely.
This looks too pretty to eat. Please, take the big seat and allow me to do something to amuse my company.
No, I came to amuse you. Shall I read aloud? Why? Look at all these books!
Well, if you like it so much, you can come down and see the real library.
What richness! Theodore Lawrence, you ought to be the happiest boy in the world.
A fellow can't live on books.
I think I could. A grand piano! Do you play?
Sometimes.
Please do now. I want to hear it so I can tell Beth.
Beth is the rosy one who stays at home a good deal and carries a little basket. Meg is the pretty one, and the curly-haired one is Amy, I believe.
How did you find that out?
I often hear you calling to one another when I'm alone up here, and you forget to close the curtain at the window where the flowers are. And I can see you sitting all around the table with your mother. Her face is so sweet, I can't help watching it. I haven't got a mother, you know.
We'll never draw that curtain anymore.
Thank you. But did you want to play?
Don't know how. I'm too stupid to learn, but I love music dearly.
You can give it a try. My grandfather does. You needn't be afraid.
I'm not afraid of anything.
I don't believe you are. Would you like to try?
You first. Mercy me, it's your grandpa!
Well, what if it is? You're not afraid of anything.
I think I'm a little bit afraid of him, though I don't know why I should be.
I believe this would just be the doctor. Would you mind if I left you here for a minute? I believe I must go see him.
Don't worry about me. I'm as happy as a cricket here. I'm sure that I shouldn't be afraid of him, for he's got such kind eyes. Though his mouth is grim and he looks like he's got a tremendous will of his own. He isn't as handsome as my grandfather, but I like him.
Thank you, ma'am. So, you're not afraid of me, eh?
Not much, sir.
And you don't think me as handsome as your grandfather?
Not quite, sir.
And I've got a tremendous will, have I?
I only said I thought so.
But you like me in spite of it.
Yes, I do, sir.
You got your grandfather's spirit, if you have in his face. He's a fine man, and I was proud to be his friend.
Thank you, sir.
Now, what have you been doing to this boy tonight, eh?
Only trying to be neighborly, sir.
Think he needs cheering up a bit, do you?
Yes, I do, sir. I think young folks would do him good, perhaps. We're only girls, but we'd be glad to help if we could.
I'll have to see your mother sometime, eh? Tell her so. Would you like to come down to tea with us and go on being neighborly? What's this?
I didn't think you'd come, sir.
That's evident. Come to your tea, sir, and behave like a gentleman. Well, yes, well, see what these little girls can do for my grandson.
Did you want to play before you leave?
I wanted to hear you play.
That's enough, young lady. Too many sugar plums are not good for me.
Perhaps some other time Beth could come. You would do her heart so good. She's so shy.
Someday, perhaps. Now, come down, Dr. Joe.
Did I say something amiss?
No, it was me. He doesn't like to hear me play.
Why not?
I'll tell you someday.
Never mind, I said to myself, let him take a holiday and make it up afterwards. The young lady next door says he's studying too hard, needs young society, amusement, and exercise. I suspect you're right. I'm much obliged to you.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate your opening up your home to the girls. Meg loves to walk in the conservatory and revel in her bouquets. Jo is gracious over the new library. And Amy copies pictures and enjoys the beauty of your home to her heart's content.
But little Beth, she hasn't come since her first visit. I was sure she'd want to practice on the grand piano.
Couldn't know how much. Her eyes lit up when she saw it.
But I'm afraid I did something wrong.
Oh, you couldn't know. She's so shy that even a loud voice can make her feel so frightened that her feet shatter on the floor.
Mother,
Look who's visiting us, my dear.
Hello, sir.
Hello, my dear.
I'll ask you later.
Please continue what you were saying, piano, Mr. Lawrence.
Why, I was just saying, the boy neglects his music now, and the piano is starting to suffer from want of use. I was wondering when some of your girls would run over and practice on it every now and then, just to keep it in tune. Yes, they didn't see or speak to anyone but come in at any time. I'm locked away in my study half the day, and the servants will never pass the drawing room after 9 o'clock. Please tell the young ladies what I say. If they don't get to come, why, never mind.
Oh, sir, they do care. Very, very much.
Are you the musical girl?
Yes, I'm Beth. I love it dearly, and I'll come, as long as you're sure nobody will hear me or be disturbed.
Not a soul, my dear. The house is half empty half the day, and servants are never past the drawing room after 9 o'clock. So come and drum away as much as you like, and I'll be much obliged to you.
How kind you are, sir.
I had a little girl once, with eyes like these. God bless you, my dear. Good day, madam.
but I never had any that suited me so well as yours. Heartsease is my favorite flower, and these will always remind me of the gentle giver. I like to pay my debts, so I know you will allow the old gentleman to send something which once belonged to the little granddaughter he lost. With hearty thanks and best wishes I remain, your grateful friend and humble servant, James Lawrence. There, Beth, that's an honor to be proud of. Laurie's told me how fond Mr. Lawrence used to be of the little girl he lost. Just think, he's given you her piano.
Your humble servant, James Lawrence. Only think of his writing that to you, Beth. I'm going to tell the girls. They'll think it's splendid.
Try it, honey. Let's hear the sound of the baby piano.
You'll have to go and thank him.
Yes, I need to. I guess I'll go now, before I get frightened thinking about it.
Huh?
Well, if it ain't the queerest thing I ever see. The piano has turned her head.
Come in.
I came to thank you, sir, for...
Well, I do believe the world is coming to an end.
About my nose being too flat to smell other people's limes. Well, I crushed her hopes. You needn't be so polite all of a sudden, Jenny, because you won't get any.
What the studious little peacock.
Yes, well, the moment she got a chance, Jenny told Mr. Davis that Amy March has pickled limes in her desk. She told him, and I was in for it.
Ahead, young ladies. Your attention, if you please. Miss March, come to my desk.
I didn't know why he called on me, but I was afraid, for the limes weighed on my conscience.
And bring with you the lies in your desk.
I didn't know what to do, but I put them down before him, feeling that any man possessing a human heart would relent when that delicious perfume met his nose. But he didn't seem to care for limes at all.
Is that all?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure there are no more?
The idea. I never lie, sir.
Well then, take these disgusting things and throw them out the window!
The whole class sighed. I was just scarlet with shame and anger. But I did it. Even Katie Brown burst into tears.
A tragic fate for the lion lovers.
Oh, wait, the worst is yet to come.
Young ladies, remember what I said to you a week ago? I am sorry it has come to this. But you know I never allow my rules to be infringed upon, and I never break my promise. Miss March, your hand.
He hit you. It looked as though he might break his word. But just then, an indignant hiss from one of my classmates sealed my fate.
Your hand, Miss March. You will now stand on the platform till recess.
It was dreadful. It would have been bad enough to go to my seat, but to face the whole school seemed impossible. But I bore it with a bitter sense of wrong, and the thought of Jenny Snow quivering in shame at what she'd done to me. But the worst part was thinking, I'll have to tell it home, and they'll be so disappointed in me. The 15 minutes seemed like an hour, but they came to an end at last.
You can go, Miss March.
He won't soon forget the reproachful glance I gave him. Without a word to anyone, I went straight into the anteroom, snatched my things, and left the place forever. And I hope I never have to go to school again.
I propose that Mr. Davis be arrested without delay.
Yes.
Yes, you can have a vacation from school, but I want you to study a little every day with Beth. I don't approve of corporal punishment, especially for girls.
I wish all the girls would leave and spoil his old school. It's perfectly maddening to think of all those lovely lives.
I'm not sorry you lost them, for you broke the rules and deserve some punishment for your disobedience.
Do you mean you're glad I was disgraced before the whole school?
I wouldn't have chosen that way of mending fault, but I'm not sure it won't do you more good than a milder method. You're becoming rather conceited, my dear, and it's rather time you set about correcting it.
skating. She promised I could go next time, Marmee, and this is the last ice we'll have.
Amy, you were very naughty for destroying her precious little book, but I think she might forgive you if you try her at the right moment. Go after them, don't say anything till she's got good-natured with Laurie, then just do some kind thing, and I'm sure she'll be friends again with all her heart.
I'll try. Thanks, Meg. Joe! Joe, wait!
She's not hurt and won't even take hold.
Oh, Mother, if she should die, it would be my fault. I heard her racing after us. I knew she was headed for the thin ice, but I deliberately kept going.
You cherished your anger till it grew too strong and took possession of you, as evil thoughts and feelings always do, unless cast out at once.
It's my dreadful temper. What will I do?
Watch and pray, dear, and never think it impossible to conquer your faults.
You don't know. You can't guess how bad it is. I get so savage. Oh, Mother, help me. Do help me.
I will. Joe, dear, you think your temper is the worst in the world, but mine used to be just like it.
Yours? Why, you're never angry.
I'm angry nearly every day of my life, but I choose not to show it.
But how have you learned to keep still in the first place? That's what troubles me. For the sharp words fly out before I know what I'm about.
My good mother used to help me, as you do us, but I lost her when I was a little older than you are. Then your father came along, and he helped me practice all the virtues I would have my little girls possess, for I was their example.
Oh, Mother, if I'm ever half as good as you are, I'll be satisfied.
I hope you'll be a great deal better.
I almost let the sun go down on my anger. I couldn't forgive her, and today it might have been too late. How could I have been so wicked?
Drive in fine carriages, wear my best frock every day, and do nothing but enjoy myself.
Did you look beautiful for all the parties?
Well, I had to wear my old tarlatan, but Sally dressed my hair, and Annie tied my sash, and just as we were getting ready, the maid brought in a box of flowers for me.
The flowers we sent you from Laurie?
Yes, only Annie thought for sure they were for her sister Belle from her fiancé. The flowers were so lovely, I made a bouquets for the other girls.
very generous, and I'm sure you look lovelier than anyone, even with their fine dresses.
Well, I danced to my heart's content. Everyone was very kind, and I had 3 compliments.
Did you see Laurie? We sent him to spy on you.
Oh, yes. I danced with him. What did he say?
Oh, he just said you looked pretty well. Honestly, for a spy, he was awfully tight-lipped.
Well, I'll tell you all about it, but I'm rather tired right now, so perhaps we could talk about it tomorrow.
Yes, girls, it's rather time you're off to bed anyway.
Oh.
It is pleasant to be quiet and not have company manners on all the time. Home is a nice place, though it isn't splendid.
I'm glad to hear you say so, dear. For I was afraid home would seem dull and poor to you after your fine quarters.
Marmee, I want to fess.
What is it, dear?
I told you they dressed me up, but I didn't tell you that they powdered and squeezed and frizzled me and made me look like a fashion plate. One man said I looked like a doll. I knew it was silly, but they flattered me and said I was a beauty and quantities of nonsense, so I let them make a fool of me. Oh, let's go see Oh, you need a dress. This one. This dress is perfect for our Daisy. She'll look like a doll by tonight. Take it off. I didn't even say that. On the other side of the flowery wall.
How old is young Mr. Lord?
16 or 17, I should say.
It would be a great thing if you married one of those March girls, wouldn't it?
Mrs. March has made her plans, I dare say, and will play her cards well, early as it is. The girl evidently doesn't think of it yet.
Doesn't think of it? What about that bit about her mama? When the flowers came, she claimed the note was from her mother, when she knew perfectly well that the boy sent it to her.
Poor thing! She'd be so nice if she was got up in style, but that dowdy old dress is all she has.
I'm not a suspicious person, but I couldn't help understanding what they meant. I tried to forget it, but I couldn't, and I kept repeating it to myself.
Mrs. March has made her plans.
That bit about her mama.
That dowdy old dress!
Till I was ready to cry and rush home and tell my troubles and ask for advice.
My dear girls, I am ambitious for you, but I'd rather see you poor men's wives. If you were happy, beloved, contented, than queens on thrones, without self-respect or peace.
But poor girls don't stand a chance nowadays, Belle says, unless they put themselves forward. They will be old maids.
Right, Joe. Better to be old maids than unhappy wives or unmaidenly girls, running about to find husbands wherever they go. One thing remember, my girls, mother is always ready to be your confidant, father your friend, and both of us hope and trust that our daughters, whether married or single, will be the pride and comfort of our lives.
We'll remember, Marmee.
propose that we admit Mr. Theodore Lawrence as an honorary member of the Pickwick Club. Come now, say aye. Aye.
Mr. President and ladies, I beg pardon, gentlemen. Allow me to introduce myself as Sam Weller, the humble servant of the club. I merely wish to say that as a slight token of my gratitude and for the honor done me, and as a means of promoting friendly relations between adjoining nations, have constructed a post office in the hedge in the lower corner of the garden. Allow me to present the club key, and with many thanks for your favor, take my seat. Oh, no, wait. Esteemed gentlemen, as summer is here at last, I propose we pitch a tent in Longmeadow and roll the whole crew out to lunch and croquet. Brooke and I will see to rations, and everyone is invited. What do you say? Well, ladies, according to Mr. John Brooke, my estimable tutor and chief burden, but also our commissary general, our luncheon is now merely a fond memory.
Thank goodness. I couldn't eat another thing.
What do we do now that lunch is over?
Have games till it's cooler.
How about a game of croquet?
I'll play.
I think I'll finish my sketch.
Brooke, Meg, we'll call you when we're ready.
That's very kind of you, Laurie.
Did the German song suit Miss March?
Oh yes, it was very sweet, and I'm much obliged to whoever translated it for me.
I'm still surprised you don't read German, Meg.
Well, not very well. My father, who taught me, is away, and I have nobody to correct my pronunciation.
Well, try a little now. Here's Schiller's Mary Stuart and a tutor who loves to teach.
It's so hard, I'm afraid to try.
I'll read a bit to encourage you. Der Himmel hat vor euch entschieden, Schwester. Der Grund, warum Sieg ist euer glücklich Haupt. Die Gottheit bet ich an, die euch erhüte. That means, heaven has decided for you, sister. Crowned with triumph is your happy brow, and I adore the deity that raised you up.
It's poetry.
Oh, some of it is. Try. This passage.
Oh Gott, ein Himmel, mein alles hängt, mein Leben, mein Geschick, an meiner Worte, meiner Tränenkraft. Lost mir das Vers, dass ich das eure Rücken?
Very well indeed. That means, O God in heaven, my life, my destiny, my all, now hangs upon the power of my words and my tears. Release my heart so that I may touch yours.
Thank you.
That was nice, Meg.
How beautifully you draw, Amy. I wish I could do that.
Well, why don't you learn? I should think you had taste and talent for it.
I haven't time. I have to work. I live in America, not some castle in Europe.
Yes, We tutors also have a rather hard time of it here, as I know to my sorrow. But there's no place like America for us workers, Miss Margaret.
I'm glad I live in it then. I only wish I enjoyed teaching as much as you do.
I should think you would if you had Laurie for a pupil. I'll be very sorry to lose him next year.
Going to college, I suppose?
Yes, it's high time he went, for he's ready. And as soon as he's off, I'll turn soldier. I'm needed.
Well, I'm glad of that. I should think every young man would want to go. Though it is very hard for the mothers and sisters who have to stay at home.
I have neither, and very few friends to care whether I live or die.
But Laurie and his grandfather would care a great deal. And we would all be very sorry to have anything happen to you.
Thank you.
And no more studying today.
Little Raphael can draw the wickets.
There's not a bit of flirt in that girl, is there?
Not a particle, but she's a dear.
Not a stricken dear. Anyway.
Walk with me, Joe, and I'll tell you a secret.
Is it a nice one?
Oh, isn't it? All about people you know, and I've been aching to tell it to you for some time now.
Well then, what is it?
I know where Meg's missing glove is.
Is that all?
Oh, it will be for the present, as when I tell you where it is.
Tell then! How do you know?
Side.
Where?
Pocket.
All this time?
Yes, isn't that romantic?
No, it's horrid!
I thought you could please.
Of course I don't. It's ridiculous. It won't be allowed. My patience. What will Meg say?
You're not allowed to tell anyone, mind that.
I didn't promise.
Ha! That was understood. I trusted you.
Well, I won't for the present anyway. But it's ridiculous. Well, she wouldn't have told me.
There'll come a time when someone will come take you away.
I'd like to see anyone try it.
So would I.
Now I feel all unsettled. I wish you wouldn't have told me.
I know what cheer you up.
How?
Race that tree.
Well, you cheated. Yes, you did. Well, I was hurt.
Not my fault.
Joe, you've been running again. How could you? When will you stop such romping ways?
Never till I'm stiff and old and have to use a crutch. Don't make me try to grow before my time, Meg. It's hard enough having you change all of a sudden.
What? Me?
Oh, where were you calling yesterday? All so fine.
At the gardener's. Sally told me all about Belle Moffat's wedding.
Do you envy her, Meg?
I'm afraid I do.
Glad of it.
Why? Well,
riches. Don't want you to go and marry a poor man.
I'll never go and marry anyone.
Anything interesting there, Joe?
Nothing but a story. Walked about too much, I guess.
You'd better read it out loud. That will amuse us and keep you out of mischief. What's the name?
The Masked Marriage.
That sounds well. Read it.
The Masked Marriage, a tale of Venice. Gondola after gondola swept up to the marble steps and left its lovely load to swell the brilliant throng that filled Count Adelon. Knights and ladies, elves and pages, monks and flower girls, all mingled gaily in the dance.
Wait, Joe. Who wrote it?
Your sister!
I knew it! Oh my Joe, I'm so proud! Tell us all about it! When did it come? How much did you get for it? What did Father say?
Jabbery girls, and I'll tell you everything.
Okay. Month in the whole year.
My patience, how blue we are. Oh, don't I wish I could manage things for you as I do for my heroines. I'd have some rich relation leave you a fortune unexpectedly, and then you'd go up abroad and come home my lady something in a blaze of splendor and elegance.
People don't have fortunes left to them like that nowadays. Men have to work and women marry for money. It's a dreadfully unjust world.
Any letter for father, girls?
No.
Madam Mother, is there anything I can do? My carriage is at the ready.
No, thank you. Except to call at the office if you'd be so kind, dear. It's our day for a letter and the postman hasn't been. Father's as regular as his son, but there's some delay on the perhaps.
It's one of them board telegraph things, Mom.
Mrs. March, your husband is very ill. Come at once, S. Hale, Blank Hospital, Washington.
Oh, go at once. But it may be too late. Oh, children, children, help me
The Lord keep the dear man. I won't waste no time a crying, but get your things ready right away, Mom.
Okay, that's right. There's no time for tears now. Be calm, girls, and let me think. Where's Lori?
Here, ma'am. Oh, let me do something.
Send a letter saying I'll come at once. If the first train goes this evening, I'll take that.
Anything else? My horses are ready. I can do anything. Go anywhere.
Send a telegram to Aunt March's. Joe, give me that pen and paper.
Aunt March, she'll croak if you ask her for 9 pence.
Joe, you know we'll have to borrow money for this journey.
Wish there was something I could do to add some money for Father.
Now go, dear, but don't kill yourself driving at a desperate pace. Joe, run to the rooms and tell Mrs. King I won't be coming. Beth, run in and ask Mr. Lawrence for a couple of bottles of old wine. I'm not too proud to beg for Father. Amy, go and tell Hannah to get down the black trunk. And Meg, let me find my things for Papa Wilbur.
I'm very sorry to hear about this, Miss March. I came to offer myself as escort to your mother. Mr. Lawrence has commissions for me in Washington and it will give me real satisfaction if we have service to her there.
Thank you for your kind offer. Mother will accept, I'm sure. Thank you very much. What does it say, Mother?
Just a few lines repeating what she's often said before. That it's absurd for March to go into the army. Always predicted that no good would come of it. And hopes we'll take her advice next time. Well, nearly time we were gone.
Where's Joe?
Well, we haven't seen her all day.
Shall I go look for her?
Joe, where were you? We were worried.
There's my contribution for father.
$25, my dear. Where did you get it? Joe, I hope you haven't gone and done anything rash.
No, I haven't. I didn't beg, borrow, or steal it. It's mine, honestly. And I don't think you'll blame me. For I only stole what was my own.
Joe, your hair! Your beautiful hair! Oh, Joe, how could you? You're one beauty.
What made you do it? I was wild to do something for father, and I hate to borrow as much as mother does. And I knew Aunt March would croak. She always does.
Thank you, dearie. Children, I leave you to Hannah's care. Don't grieve and fret while I'm gone, or think you can comfort yourselves by being idle and trying to forget. And one thing remember, my girls, you can never be fatherless. Goodbye, children. God bless and keep us all. How kind everyone is to us.
I don't see how they can help it.
Bye, Mommy.
I feel as if there had been an earthquake.
It seems as if half the house is gone.
Now, my dear young ladies, remember what your ma said and don't fret. Let's be off to bed, and first thing in the morning, we'll have a cup of coffee all around, and then fall to work and be a credit to the family.
Hope and keep busy. That's the motto for us. I'll go to Aunt March's as usual tomorrow. Won't she lecture, though?
I'll go to my King's, though I'd much rather stay here and attend things at home.
No need of that. Beth and I can keep house perfectly well.
Hannah will tell us what to do, and we'll have everything nice for you when you come home.
Well, good night, everyone. Good night, girls. Good night, Maggie. I hope the Kings won't stray tomorrow. And don't fret about father, dear.
Now we must go to sleep and not talk. We need all the strength we can get. Joe? What is it, dear? Are you crying about father?
No, not now.
What then?
My hair!
It's impossible to tell you how happy your last letter made us, for the news was so good we couldn't help laughing and crying over it. How very kind Mr. Brooke is, and how fortunate that Mr. Lawrence's business detains him near you so long. Give my dearest love to Father. Ever your own, May.
My precious Marmee! 3 cheers for dear father! Burke was a trump to telegraph right off and let us know the minute that father was better. My hair is already growing back. Give father my lovingest hug that ever was, and kiss yourself a dozen times for your topsy-turvy Joe.
Dear Mother, there is only room for me to send my love and some pressed pansies I have been keeping safe in the house for Father to see. Everyone is very kind and we are... Amy wants the rest of the page, so I must stop. Oh, do come soon to your loving little Beth.
Ma chérie Mama, we are all well. I do my lessons always and never corroborate the girls. Meg says I mean contradict, so I put in both words and you can take the properest. Meg is a great comfort to me and lets me have jelly every night at tea. It's so good for me, Joe says, because it keeps me sweet-tempered. Adieu, your affectionate daughter, Amy Curtis March.
Meg, I'd wish you'd go and see the Hummels. You know Mother told us not to forget them.
I'm too tired to go this afternoon.
Can't you, Joe?
It's too stormy for me with my cold.
I thought I was almost well.
Well, it's well enough for me to go with Lori, but not well enough for me to go to the homes.
Why don't you go yourself?
I have been, nearly every day, but the baby is sick, and I don't know what to do for it. It just gets sicker and sicker. I think you or Hannah ought to go.
Well, I promise I'll go tomorrow.
I'd go, but I want to finish my writing.
My head aches, and I'm tired, so I thought maybe one of you would go. Fever before, haven't you?
Years ago, when Meg did. Why?
Oh, Joe! The baby's dead!
Mrs. Holmes!
It died in my lap
Oh,
before she got home.
ought to have gone.
It wasn't dreadful, Joe. Only so sad. I saw in a minute it got sicker. But Lottie said her mother had gone for a doctor. So I took baby and let Lottie rest. It seemed to sleep. But all of a sudden, it gave a little cry and trembled. And then I knew it was dead.
Don't cry, dear.
Don't come near me.
Gone. So sorry.
Don't let Amy come. She's never had it, and I'd hate to give it to her.
maybe we could send Amy off to Aunt March's for a spell to keep her out of harm's way.
All right.
Now do come lie down, dear.
Yes. Yes. I'm awfully tired. Don't you think we ought to let Mother know? I feel so anxious and guilty writing letters to her that make no mention of Beth's illness.
Tush, I won't hear Mrs. March being told, and worried just for such a trifle. You know the doctor said Beth will only have the fever lightly.
But last night while I was watching, Beth didn't even recognize me and called for Mother. Please, Hannah, can't you write the truth to Marmee?
Well, I'll think about it. But you know the last letter from Washington told of a relapse for Mr. March, so they can't be thinking of coming home for a long while.
Well, may I write him a telegram anyway? Just in case we do have to send one?
All right, but I'm sure we won't need to.
Sit down, Lori. I want to consult you about a very serious matter. I want you to read this, please, and tell me if it's legal and right. I felt I ought to do it, for life is uncertain, and I don't want any ill feeling over my tooth.
My last will and testament. Now, Amy, I really think I, Amy Curtis March, being in my sane mind, go give and bequeath all my earthly property, namely to my father, my best pictures and works of art, including frames, to my mother, all my clothes, except the blue apron with buckets, to my sister Margaret, yes, to Joe, I leave my most precious plaster rabbit.
Because I'm sorry I burned up her story.
That's sweet. To Beth, if she lives after me. I give my dolls in the little bureau to my friend and neighbor Theodore Lawrence, my papier-mâché portfolio. Many thanks indeed. And now, having disposed of my most valuable property, I set my hand and seal on this 20th day of November, 1861. Amy Curtis March, witness Theodore Lawrence. My name is written in pencil.
Yes, I want you to rewrite it in ink, and then seal it up for me properly.
What put this into your mind, Amy? Did anyone tell you about Beth's giving away her things?
What about Beth?
She felt so ill one day, she wanted to give her piano to Beth. She wanted to give her piano to Meg. Her cats to you and her poor old doll to Joe. She left locks of hair to the rest of us.
Don't people put sort of postscripts in their wills sometimes?
Yes, codicils they call them.
Well then, put one in mine. I wish all my curls cut off and given round to my friends. I forgot it, but I want it done. Though it will spoil my looks.
All right then.
There isn't really any danger about Beth, is there?
I'm afraid there is, but we must hope for the best. So don't cry, dear.
Miss March can leave her husband. She'd best be sent for.
What is it? Is Beth worse?
I'm going to send for Mother.
Well, it's not so bad as that.
Yes, it is. She doesn't look like my Beth, and there is nobody to hear us to help us bear it.
Hold on to me, Joe. I'm here.
Thank you, Teddy. I'm better now.
Poor girl. You're worn out. But stop a bit. I know where to heart you up in a jiffy.
What is it?
I telegraphed to your mother yesterday, and Brooke answered she'd come here at once. She'll be here tonight.
Oh, Lori! Oh, Mother, I'm so glad! How can I ever thank you?
Flatter me again. I rather liked it.
I'll do it by proxy when your grandpa comes. Bless you, Teddy, bless you. Oh, Hannah! Only think Lori's already telegraphed Mother. She's coming tonight.
Tonight? Why? Well, if it ain't the interference chap I ever seen. But I'm prepared. And I do hope Mrs. March is coming right away. I guess I better knock up a couple of pies in case of company unexpected.
Mother's coming, dear. Mother's coming.
If God spares Beth, I will never complain again.
If God spares Beth, I'll try to love and serve him all my life.
I wish I had no heart. It aches so.
If life is as hard as this, I don't see how we'll ever get through it. Meg? What is it? That's... You're too afraid to tell me! What is it?
She's so still.
Hannah!
Beth. The fever's turned. She's sleeping natural. Her skin's damp, but she breathes easy. Praise be given. Oh my goodness me. She'll pull through. She'll pull through.
Oh, Mother!
Rather a rough road for you to travel, my little pilgrims, especially the latter part of it. But you've gone on bravely, and I think your burdens are a fair way to tumble off quite soon. I made several discoveries today.
Oh, tell us what they are.
Here's one. I remember a time when this hand was white and smooth, and your first care was to keep it so. It was very pretty then, but to me it's much prettier now. Meg, my dear, I value the womanly skill which keep home happy more than white hands or fashionable accomplishments. I'm proud to shake this good industrious little hand and hope you won't be soon asked to give it away.
Now, do say something good about Jo, for she's tried so hard and been so very, very good to me.
Well, I don't see the son, Jo, whom I saw a year ago. I see a young lady who pins her collar straight, laces her boots neatly, and neither whistles, talks slang, nor lies on the rug hug as she used to. She doesn't bounce, but moves quietly and takes care of a certain little person in a motherly way which delights me. I rather miss my wild girl, but if I get a strong, helpful, tender-hearted woman in her place, I'll feel quite satisfied. Now Beth. There's so little of her. I'm afraid to say much for fear she'll slip away altogether. Though she's not shy as she used to be. I thought you saved my Beth, and I'll keep you so, please God.
Now, Amy.
I observed that Amy took drumsticks at dinner, ran errands for her mother all afternoon, gave Meg her place tonight, and has waited on everyone with patience and good humor. I also observed that she doesn't fret much, nor look in the glass. She's learned to think of others more and of herself less. Though I'd be very proud of a graceful statue made by her, I'd be infinitely prouder of a lovable daughter with a talent for making life beautiful to herself and others.
What are you thinking, Beth?
I'm so happy that if only Father were here, I couldn't hold one drop more.
So am I.
I'm sure I am.
Of course I am. How can I be otherwise?
Here's another Christmas present for the Marge family.
Joe, what's the matter? Aren't you happy Father's home?
Yes, it's wonderful to see him propped up in the big chair again, but I can't help feeling that something is not right.
Yes, everyone seems to be waiting for something, but what it is, I can't imagine.
Mr. Brooke left his umbrella in the hall yesterday.
Behave yourself. Go away. What does the little goose mean?
He's showing you how your John will go on by and by. Touching, isn't it?
Don't say my John. It isn't right or proper. I've told you I don't care much about him.
Well, I don't mean to plague you and will bear it like a man, but if you ever mean to say anything, I wish you'd make haste.
Well, I can't say anything till he speaks, and he won't because Father said I was too young.
If he did speak, you wouldn't know what to say.
I'm not so silly and weak as you think. I know just what I should say.
What?
Well, I should merely say, thank you, Mr. Brooke, you're very kind, but I agree with Father that I am too young to enter into any engagement at the present.
That's stiff and cool enough, but I don't believe you'll ever say it. You'll give in rather than hurt his feelings.
No, I won't. I shall tell him I've made up my mind, and I shall leave the room with dignity.
Good evening. I just came to get my umbrella. That is, to see how your father finds himself today.
He's very well. He's in the rack. I'll get it and tell him you're here.
Joe. Mother would like to see you. Pray sit down.
Don't go. Are you afraid of me, Margaret?
How can I be afraid when you've been so kind to Father? I only wish I could thank you for it.
Shall I tell you how?
Oh no, please don't.
I won't trouble you. I only want to know if you care for me a little. I love you so much, dear.
I don't know.
Are you trying to find out? I can't go to work with any heart until I learn whether I can have my reward in the end or not.
I'm too young.
I'll wait, and in the meantime, you could be learning to like me. Will it be a very hard lesson, dear?
Not if I chose to.
Please choose to learn, May. I love to teach, and this is easier than German.
Well, no, I don't choose. Please go away and let me be.
Do you really mean that?
Yes, I do. I don't want to worry about such things. Father says I need it. I'd rather not.
May I hope you'll change your mind by and by. I'll wait and say nothing till you have more time. Don't play with me, May. I didn't think that of you.
Don't think of me at all. I'd rather you wouldn't. Bless me! What is all this? It's Father's friend. I'm so surprised to see you.
Well, that's evident. But what is Paul's friend saying to make you look like a peony? There's mischief going on. I insist upon knowing what it is.
We were only talking. Mr. Brooke came for his umbrella.
Brooke, that boy's tutor. Oh, I understand now. Find all about it. Tell me, you haven't gone and accepted him, child, have you?
Hush till here. Shall I call Mother?
No, not yet. I have something to say to you, and I must free my mind at once. Tell me, do you mean to marry this cook? If you do, not one penny of my money ever goes to you. Remember that and be a sensible girl.
I shall marry whom I please, Aunt March, and you can leave your money to anyone you like.
Tunty, tunty. Is that the way you take my advice, miss? You'll be sorry for it by and by. You fell over a cottage and found it a failure.
Well, it can't be a worse one than some people find in big houses.
Now, May, my dear, be reasonable and take my advice. I mean it kindly, and don't want you to spoil your whole life by making a mistake at the beginning. You ought to marry well and help your family. It's your duty to make it rich, and it'll be impressed upon you.
Well, Father and Mother don't think so. They like John, though he is poor.
Your parents, my dear, have no more worldly wisdom than a pair of babies.
Well, I'm glad of it.
This rook is poor and hasn't got any rich relations, has he?
No, he has many warm friends.
You can't live on friends. Try to see how cool they'll grow. He hasn't any business, has he?
Not yet, but Mr. Lawrence is going to help him.
That won't last long. So you intend to marry a man without money, position, or business, when you might be comfortable all your days by minding me and doing better? I thought you had more sense, Meg.
Aunt March, I couldn't do better if I waited half my life. John is good and kind. He's got heaps of talent. He's willing to work and sure to get on.
He knows you've got a rich relations, child. That's the secret of his life, I suspect.
Aunt March, how dare you suggest such a thing? My John wouldn't marry for money any more than I would. He loves me and I...
I wash my hands of this whole affair. You are a willful child, and you've lost more than you know by this piece of folly. Don't expect anything from me when you're married. Your Mr. Book's friends must take care of you. I'm done with you forever.
I couldn't help hearing, May. Thank you for defending me, and my thanks to Aunt March for proving you do care for me, even if only a little.
I didn't know how much till she abused you.
And I mean to go, but may stay and be happy. May I, dear?
Yes, John?
Oh, Meg, I'm so glad you seem to the way it's been planned, and that's
Sister Joe, come for
Oh, somebody come quick! John Brooke is acting dreadfully, and Meg likes it!
bring those to the printers right away.
And here are my proofs. Look, there's only a few changes.
Splendid. How are you feeling?
Better, but I'm still tired. And Mother has been ill again.
I'm sorry to hear it. How did you find the book after a month off?
Actually, I found it read better than I expected. Not a bit sensational, but simple and true. Well, it ought to. We really lived most of it. If it succeeds, that'll be the reason for it. Well, that's all.
Just one more thing. There has been a small matter of the sequel.
The sequel. I barely finished writing the book.
Yes, but how does Meg's marriage go? What happens to Amy? Does Beth get sick again? And most important, how does Joe end up with Lori?
Mr. Niles, I won't marry Joe off to please anyone, as if that's the only aim and end of a woman's life.
But who else would she marry? Pray tell.
Maybe she marries nobody.
Now you're being ridiculous, Miss Alcott. Of course she has to marry someone.
Why, pray tell? So she can take care of some stranger's family? Why mightn't she have a spinster instead? Who trim a life anyway?
You're not proposing to keep Joe from getting married when everybody else wants her to. Oh, never mind this. All I want to know is, are you willing to write a sequel?
My family didn't need the money.
Could you have it by the spring? Maybe we could call it Wedding Marches.
Mr. Niles, please! Let's use something like Little Women, Act Second, or Leaving the Nest, sequels in the
We'll do it then?
Yes, yes.
Are you ready for Meg's wedding?
Oh, hush you. There's still plenty of time. Look!
Another story published, Joe?
Not only that, I won first prize in the contest. $100! The Duke's daughter paid the butcher's bill. A phantom hand to put down the new carpet. And now, the curse of the Coven trees will prove a blessing to the marches.
That's so wonderful, my dear.
Thank you.
Well, you can't say nothing pleasant ever happens now, can you, Meg?
No, I'm sure I can't. How much has happened since I said that?
Joy's come close upon the sorrows this time.
All this romance. Here comes Lori. Now we'll have some sensible conversation.
Congratulations, Meg. I know Brooke would have his own way. He always does.
Thank you, Lori.
Satisfied? Do you feel you'll be happy here?
Yes, perfectly satisfied, thanks to you all. And so happy that I can't talk about it. And I'm so glad I'm not going to have a fashionable wedding, but only those about me whom I love, with whom I can look and be my familiar self.
Well, you look just like our own dear Meg, only so very sweet and lovely. When I hug you, it wouldn't crumple your dress.
Then I'm satisfied. But do hug and kiss me, for I want a great many crumples of that sort put into it today. Now I'm going to tie John's cravat for him, and then spend a few minutes quietly with Father in the study. March!
Oh, upon my word, he's a state of things. Why oughtn't we see him to the last minute, child?
I'm not a show, Auntie, and no one is coming to stare at me or criticize my dress or count the cost of the luncheon. I'm too happy to care what anyone says or thinks, and I'm going to have my little wedding just the way I like it. John, dear, it's nearly time.
Jupiter, I'm on! Joseph set the cake again.
Don't let that young giant come near me. Worms be worse than mosquitoes.
Oh, you can be perfectly elegant, and he's promised to be very good today.
The cake ain't hurt a mite, and everything looks lovely.
I thought you didn't like being tied to a woman's apron strings.
That depends on who the woman is.
Mercy me! Now, Teddy, I want to talk seriously to you about today. You must promise to behave well.
Not a prank.
And don't look at me during the ceremonies, but laugh.
You won't be laughing, you'll be crying so hard, there'll be a thick fog around you.
I never cry, unless for some great affliction.
Exactly. 1 March girl down, 3 to go.
Mercy on us! Now, Teddy, what? Meg's wedding has turned all our heads. Talk of nothing but lovers and such absurdities. So don't say any more about it. Come on, it's time.
Mark my words, Joe, you'll go next.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today.
I wish you well, my dear. I heartily wish you well. And I think you'll be sorry for it. You've got a treasure, young man. See that you deserve it.
Why, thank you, Auntie.
This has been the prettiest wedding I've been to for an age. But I don't see why there isn't a bit of style about it. Are you going to talk about the fair, dear?
Yes, Aunt. Mrs. Chester asked me if I would, and I offered to tend a table, as I've put my time to give. Are you going to help with the fair, Joe?
No, I'm not. I'm paid to be patronized. Wonder you consented. Maybe they only want you to work.
I'm willing to work. Patronage doesn't trouble me when it's well meant, Joe.
Quite right, Papa. I like your grateful spirit, my dear. It is a pleasure to help those who appreciate our efforts. Some do not, and that is trying.
I don't like favors. They oppress me and make me feel like a slave. I'd rather do everything for myself than be perfectly independent.
How is your French coming along, my dear?
Oh, pretty well, thanks to you, Aunt March. I'm so glad you let Esther talk to me as often as I wanted when Beth was sick.
And how are your languages now?
Don't know a word. I'm very stupid about studying anything, and I can't bear French.
You're quite strong and well now, dear, I believe. Your eyes are better.
Oh, yes, I'm very well, thank you, ma'am. And I mean to do great things this winter, so I may be ready for Rome whenever that joyful time arrives.
Good girl. You deserve to go. And I'm sure you will. Someday. You come and take a walk, my dear.
Thank you, I will.
Well, goodbye. Now you must have a good long holiday.
I intend to.
What is it? No, Teddy, please don't!
We've got to have it out, Joe, and the better for both of us.
Say what you like then. I'll listen.
I've loved you ever since I've known you, Joe. I've tried to show it, but you wouldn't let me. Now I'm gonna make you hear.
I wanted to save you this. I thought you'd understand. I'm so grateful to you, so proud and fond of you. But I can't love you as you want me to, though I've tried.
Really? Truly, Joe?
Really, truly, dear. Oh, Teddy, I'm so sorry, so desperate. desperately sorry. I could kill myself if it would do any good. You know it's impossible for people to make themselves love other people if they don't.
They do sometimes.
I don't believe it's the right sort of love, and I'd rather not try it. Oh, Lori, I don't believe you and I are suited to each other. Our quick tempers and strong wills would make us miserable if we were ever so foolish as to...
Mary? No, they wouldn't. If you loved me, Joe, I would be a perfect saint, and you can make me anything you like.
No, I can't. I've tried and failed, and I won't risk our happiness by such a serious experiment. Now, do be reasonable and take a sensible view of the case.
No, I won't be reasonable. And it only makes it hard. I don't believe you got a heart.
I wish I hadn't.
Don't disappoint us, dear. Everyone expects it. Now say you will, and let's be happy. Do, Joe?
I can't say yes truly, so I won't say it all. You'll see that I'm right by and by, and you'll thank me for it.
I'll be hanged if I do.
Yes, you will! You'll get over all of this after a while, and find some lovely, accomplished girl who will adore you, and will make a fine mistress for your fine house. I wouldn't. We'd quarrel. Look, we can't even help but do it now, and we'd be unhappy, and everything would be horrid.
Anything more?
Nothing more, except I don't believe I'll ever marry. I'm happy as I am, and I love my liberty too well to be in a hurry to give it up for any mortal man.
There'll come a time when you will care for somebody, and I'll have to stand by and watch it.
Well, then you'll just have to do the best you can then. I'll always be fond of you, but I'll never love you, and the sooner you believe it, the better, for both of us.
You'll be sorry someday, Joe.
Where are you going?
To the devil!
Joe, thought I should tell you right away. Aunt March is going abroad next month and wants...
Me to go with her?
No, not you. It's Amy.
Oh, Mother, I've wanted it for so long. Oh, this isn't fair. It isn't fair.
I wish you could have gone, but there's no hope of it this time.
I wish I could go away somewhere this winter for a change.
You know, Mrs. Kirk wrote to me for some respectable young person to teach your children, and so it might suit you.
Go out in service to that great boarding school in New York City? Well, why not? Mrs. Kirk is your friend and would make things pleasant for me. And it's honest work. I'm not ashamed of it.
Nor I, but you're writing.
All the better for the change. I'll hear and see new things, yet quantities of ideas for my rubbish.
Well, if it can be managed, you'll go.
Thank you so much, Mother. I've got heaps to tell, though I'm not a fine young lady traveling on the continent, but only a young governess in New York. I'm still amazed to hear that Laurie and his grandfather have trundled off to Europe. I do hope that they'll take time to visit Amy, and that that dear boy's heart is mending. Mrs. Kirk has given me a splendid room with a nice table and a sunny window, so I can write here and sit whenever I like. The day I arrived, I met a certain Professor Baird. He was already good friends with my little charges, Tina and Kitty.
Ah, I hear these naughty ones for to vex you, Miss March. If so again, call it me, and I come.
I must be doomed to see a good deal of him. For one day, as I passed his door on my way out, by accident I knocked against it with my umbrella. The door flew open, and there he stood in his dressing gown, darning a sock.
Oh, you have a fine day to make your walk. Bon voyage, mademoiselle.
I laughed all the way downstairs, but it was sad to think of the poor man having to mend his own clothes. I made up my mind to help him, and with Mrs. K's help, I secretly darned his socks. One day in the nursery, there was such an uproar in the parlor that I had to begin.
Oh. I give you my word, dear lady. If we make too large a noise, you shall say, hush, to us. And we go more softly.
They were having so much fun, I couldn't help but peek in. They played tag and soldiers, and he told charming fairy stories. He even offered me lessons.
So, you peep at me, I peep at you. And this is not bad, but see, I am not pleasanting when I say, have you a wish for German?
Yes, but you're too busy.
Ah, prot, we will make the time, and I will give a little lesson with much gladness. For look you, Miss March, I have this debt to pay. I have eyes, and I see much. I have a heart, and I feel thanks for this. Come, a little lesson then and now, or no more good fireworks for me and mine.
Of course, I couldn't refuse. He was very patient with me, but it must have been torment to him to have me as a student. Yet, he spoke so kindly.
Das uns gut. Now we go well.
It's very good of him, isn't it? By the way, I'm getting rich in books now. For on New Year's Day, Mr. Bear gave me a fine Shakespeare.
You often say you wish a library. Here, I give you one. Between these lids,
He meant covers.
is many books in one. Read him well, and he will help you much. For the study of its character will help you to read it in the world and paint it with your pen.
Yes, I still find time for literary labors, but I'm ashamed to confess that I've had to learn a very important lesson about my writing. You see, although I've never told you this before, and it pains me even now to tell you, I've wanted so much to earn money for my dear ones at home that I took to writing sensational stories. In these dark ages, even all perfect America reads rubbish and pays for it. So I proceeded to concoct a series of thrilling tales, which Mr. Dashwood of the Weekly Volcano published and paid me for. Then I began to write more. Wrongdoing always brings its own punishment, and when I needed mine, I got it. It was Mr. Bear who gave me my lesson.
Good evening.
Good evening, Herr Professor.
We begin with the prologue to the great tragedy of Wildenstein, no?
Yes, sir.
Gut. Der Schörsenstein, der Ernsten mitspielt, der mehr so ruft ein williger Name. Klein David, Seal Hindige. Miss March, for what reason do you go on so badly? Have you no respect for me that you laugh in your master's face?
How can I be respectful, sir, when you forget to take your hat off?
Oh, I see him now. It is that imp Tina who makes a fool of me with my cap. But look, it is nothing. But see you, Miss March, if this lesson goes not well, you too shall wear them. I wish these papers were will not come into the house. They are not for children to see. They are young people to read.
Oh!
Yes, you are right to put it from you. I do not think that good young girls should see such things. I'd much rather give my boys gunpowder to play with than this trash.
I doubt if all such stories are bad. Some only may be silly, you know?
Ah, prut! If these authors knew what harms they did, they would not think they're living honest. No! They would think a little and sweep mud from the streets before they did this thing. I would much like to send the rest after him.
Shall we go on, sir? I'll be very good and proper now.
I shall hope so.
As soon as I went to my room, I reread every one of my stories. They are trash, I know it, for I can't read them in so earnest without being horribly ashamed of them. I burned them up, and when nothing remained of 3 months' work except a heap of ashes, I knew I'd never write another sensational story. Sometimes I almost wish I hadn't any conscience. It's so inconvenient. If I didn't care about doing right and didn't feel uncomfortable when doing wrong, I should get on capitally. I can't help wishing sometimes, Mother and Father, that you hadn't been so particular about such things. But then, of course, I'm glad you were. I miss you all. Ever your loving, Joe.
So, my friend, you are going home? Ah, you are happy you have a home to go into.
Happy, yes, but there is a shadow.
Dear Joe, I'm anxious about Beth. She sits alone a good deal, and I found her crying the other day. I'm sure there's something on her mind, but when I've tried to ask her about it once or twice, she looked so distressed that she evaded my questions, and I stopped. I never forced my children's confidence, but I think perhaps she'll open her tender little heart to her Joe. If only she would get quite strong and cheerful again, I wouldn't have a wish in the world.
Ah, I am very sorry for you. You go see the poor dear, and bring her the happiness you have so often brought me. You have given up writing. No more inky finger.
Yes, from now on I'm going to occupy my mind with something useful, whether it's pleasant or not. You won't forget to come and see us, sir, if you ever come and see us. Come our way.
Shall I come?
Yes, come in the spring. Amy should be back from Europe then. And maybe Maury will too.
Oh, yes. That is the handsome friend of whom you speak. The best friend.
Yes, my boy Teddy. I'm so proud of him and should so like you to meet him.
I fear I shall not make the time for this. But I wish the friend much success, and you all happiness.
Thank you.
God bless you, my love to you.
Thank you. Well, goodbye.
It's not for me. You must not wish it now.
be true.
Joe, dear, I'm glad you know it. I've known it for a good while now, dear, and now I'm used to it, so it isn't hard to bear.
Is this what made you so unhappy in the autumn, Beth? You didn't feel it then, did you? You kept it to yourself for so long?
Yes, I tried to think it was a sick fancy, but when I saw you all so well and strong and full of happy plans, it was hard to feel that I could never be like you. And then I was miserable, Joe.
But you must get well.
I want to. Oh, so much. But every day I feel I lose a little and feel that I shall never gain it back. It's like the tide, Joe. When it turns, it goes slowly, and it can't be stopped.
No, it shall be stopped. 19 is too young. God won't be so cruel as to take you from me.
I can't say I'm glad to die, for life was very sweet for me, but I try to be willing. You'll tell the others.
I think they'll see it without words.
I don't want any secrets, and it's kinder to prepare them. Meg has John and the babies to comfort her, but you must stand by father and mother. Won't you, Joe?
If I can, but Beth, I don't give up yet. I'm going to believe it is a sick fancy and not let you think it's true.
I don't know how to explain myself, but I feel that it was never intended that I should live long. I'm not like the rest of you. I never made any plans about when I grew up. I never thought of being married as you all did. I never wanted to go away. And now the hard part is leaving you all. I'm not afraid to die, but I feel as if I should be homesick for you all, even in heaven. I hope I shall see dear Amy again. She seems so far away.
She's coming home in the spring, and I mean to have you well and rosy by the time she gets here.
Joe, dear, don't hope anymore. It won't do any good. We won't be miserable, but enjoy being together while we wait. We'll have happy times, for I don't suffer much, and I think the tide will go out easily, if you let me.
I will, dear.
time at Meg's. We stopped there, by the way. There's no getting my wife out of her clutches. I mean, Amy. Oh, now I've done it.
What? You got married!
Yes, please, but I never will again.
Oh, Ted, what dreadful thing will you do next?
A characteristic, not exactly a complimentary congratulation.
Get up, you ridiculous boy! Tell me all about it!
Well, Aunt Marge wanted to spend another winter there in Paris, but Grandpa wanted to come home. Aunt Marge wouldn't let Amy come with us. I also couldn't let Grandpa go alone. So I just told Amy, let's be married and we can do as we like.
You always have things to suit you.
Not always. Anyway, we got married in Paris 6 weeks ago. But for even in our happiness, we didn't forget dear little Beth. Now, Joe, I want to say one thing, and then we can put it by us forever. You know I'll always love you, but that love is altered now. For you knew that this would happen, and you were right. I just wanted to let you know I was done with the old love before I was on with the new. So I can honestly share my heart between Sister Joe and wife Amy. I love them both dearly. Now, will you believe it and go back to the old time when we once knew one another?
I'll believe it with all my heart. Oh, mercy me, how time does fly. Seems like it was only yesterday I was buttoning Amy's pinafore. Oh, this past year has been such a hard one. I feel 40.
Poor Joe. We left you to bear it all alone. But never again. Amy and I can't get on without you, and we need someone to teach the children how to keep house. So will you, and we'll all be happy together.
If I shouldn't be in the way. Oh, Teddy, you are always such a comfort.
Where is she? Where's my Joe? Amy! Oh.
Clumsy old Joe.
Love has done much for our little girl. What? What is it, dear?
These are the proofs to my book. When did these get here?
Hannah just set them down.
What? Hannah! 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 Where did this come from?
Why, a gentleman brought it in just a minute ago.
Why didn't you give it to me?
What do you know? Well, he said to give it to Miss Marge, so I naturally thought it was another wedding gift for Miss Amy. I'm sorry, Miss Josephine.
Where did he go?
I told him that Mr. and Mrs. Lawrence went to visit Meg and the babies. What? Oh, it's raining something fierce out there, Miss Joe. She'll catch her death. Perhaps not.
To be interfering.
Only friends and family. My sister and friends have just come home.
Give you their congratulations. I give you mine too. So you've married your Laurie?
What? No. My sister Amy married Laurie in Europe.
Your sister?
Yeah.
So then you're You're not married?
What has happened since I saw you last?
My friend has found for me a place in the college, where I work as a tour. For this I should be grateful for, should I not?
Indeed you should. Oh, how splendid it will be to having you do what you like. Being able to see him often.
We shall not meet often. I fear this place is in the west.
What? So far away?
You have been ill, my friend.
Not ill, but tired and sorrowful. You've had much trouble since I saw you last.
Yes. My heart was sore for you when I heard this.
Thank you.
Hearts, dearest, why do you cry?
Because you're going away.
Joe, listen to me. I have nothing but much love to give you. I was so afraid when I heard you were Mrs. Lawrence. But now, all is well. My dear. Could you make a little place in your heart for old Fritz?
Oh, yes, Bridget, yes. But why didn't you tell me all this sooner?
I had a heart to say something the day we said goodbye in New York. But I thought the handsome friend was betrothed to thee, so I spoke not. Would you have said yes then, if I had spoken?
I don't know, for I didn't have any heart just then.
Oh, Prot, that I do not believe. It was asleep until the fairy prince came through the wood and waked it up.
But what brought you just at last when I wanted you?
This.
My poem about Beth.
I found it by chance. I knew it by the names and initials.
It's very bad poetry, but I felt it when I wrote it.
Joe, this is writing from your heart.
I never knew it could go to tell tales. What could this bring you?
In it says this little verse that seemed to call to me. Read and find him. I will see you do not go in the west.
A woman in a lonely home, hearing like a sad refrain. Be worthy, love, and love will come in the falling summer rain.
Yes. I read this and I think to myself, she has a sorrow. She is lonely and will find comfort in true love. Well, I have a heart full for her.
What made you stay away so long?
I could not find the heart to take you from such a happy home, without prospects I want to give you in return.
Oh, don't fear poverty. I don't. I couldn't bear a rich husband. And I'm to help to earn my way. Sheriff Friedrich, make up your mind to that or I'll never go.
You have gifted me much hope and courage, and I have nothing to give in return. But a full heart and these empty hands.
Not empty now.
young ladies who wanted Joe to marry Lori will be weakened now. But this book that you created may have a longer life than even I had ever hoped.
Yes, I don't understand it. What can be in such a simple little story to make people praise it so?
Well, whatever its secret, there is no doubt about success. We have already sold 10,000 copies. Even London has ordered an edition.
10,000?
I'm sure we'll sell another 6,000 to 7,000 before the new year. You're becoming the celebrated author of our times.
Yes. Father says they no longer greet him on the lecture circuit as the great philosopher of Concord, but as the father of Little Women.
But I think you'll prove to be the breadwinner of the family. Here's your first installment.
This is so much. I could pay the family's debts in one fell swoop. Praise the Lord. I'm beginning to feel as if I could die in peace. My dreams are finally beginning to come true.
Well, let's not die in peace just yet. Are you all right?
What? No. Writing 14 hours a day on the book has taken its toll, I'm afraid. But the family seems so panic-stricken and helpless when I break down. So I try to keep the milk going.
Well, maybe you won't have to. I hate to think you lost your health just when you made enough money to enjoy yourself.
It wouldn't surprise me. And all for that little book. Is it any good, I wonder?
I've got them all, thank God. And I'm the happiest woman in the world.
My life's different too, but like Joe, I don't relinquish all my artistic hopes. I've begun to model a figure of baby, and Lori says it's the best thing I've ever done.
Yes, I think your harvest will be good ones.
Not as half as good as yours, Marmee. Here it is, and we can never thank you enough for all the patient sowing and reaping that you've done.
I hope there'll be more wheat and fewer tares every year.
A large sheep, but I know there's room in your heart for it, Marmee.
Oh, my girls, however long you may live, I can never wish you a greater happiness than this.
know about you guys, but could you tell they were having fun? It's always bittersweet. We were actually talking about this after we have a show. We go through this like, it's over. But before we go to that, I want to make recognition for a few people. We have some ladies at the back that worked so hard on concessions. A lot of... We have Kenneth Thompson over here. If you notice artwork. Can you step forward for a moment? I keep teasing her because she's so humble. I try to give her a compliment. She's like, oh. Those of you who know her know what I'm talking about. But she is wicked talented. If you see all the ladies' hair, she did that. A lot of research. There was a lot of work from a lot of people. Our lighting and sound, there was quite the scramble at the last minute and with the stage. There were so many people that pitched in. I can't give enough thank yous, and I know I'm gonna forget someone. But I just want you to know, we had people sewing, dunning, staying up late at night. But I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for even being here, because it's not a show unless we have an audience, and I just appreciate every single one of you taking time out of your weekend to share it with us. What a blessing. Thank you for being here. And I'm going to, Pastor Dave, I'm going to throw this on you. Are you willing to pray? I'm sorry. I didn't say this to him, I just kind of did it just now.
All right, let's give them one more round of applause. Let's give thanks, okay? Father in heaven, we thank you tonight for each one of these students. We thank you for their parents. We thank you for the opportunity you provided to give them this chance to demonstrate their gifts and their interests. Lord, thank you for the future that each one represents. And I pray, Lord, that you would be with them for the rest of the school year and this summer. Thank you, Lord, for your good gifts to us all, for our families. And we give you the praise tonight and thanks for this wonderful event. And we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
We have one more thing, if people wouldn't mind. So we have a big special thank you for Miss Hector, beautiful director. So we have these flowers.
They're quite lovely and they are cool.
Wait a minute. And on behalf of the crew, in genuine crew fashion, in a recycled bag or a repurposed bag, wrapped in genuine recycled paper with gaffer's tape from your crew.
I have not written this down. There is nothing planned about this. But I just want to say a big thank you from the seniors. you have done so much for us, and Faith and I and Kenna will be leaving next year, and I would just like to thank you. You have been with us through our drama experiences, and now Faith and I are moving on in drama, and among other things, but we owe a lot of that to you, and God. But we would just like to thank you so much for an amazing high school drama experience.
Can we have a very special round of applause for Gabriel Nilges and Riley Eamon, because Riley was feeling so terrible earlier this night. He was going to do only one scene and maybe a dance, and he pulled through, and last night Gabriel had 2 bloody noses right before he had to go on. So, next time.
You just have to basically eat it.
I also want to say real quick that this year has been a little rough for me, honestly, and I had kind of felt like at first I was feeling like I wasn't really part of the show, and I have not participated enough, and I haven't put in enough work to help you guys out, and then I came to help for the last parts of the show to actually be backstage, and I have felt really included, and I'm so glad that I can be part of this, even if it's in small ways, especially because this is my last one being a student here. So thank you to all of my lovely classmates and the cast and the crew and the audience for coming and seeing it, and thank you to my lovely director and teacher and friend for putting us all together even when it seemed like we weren't going to make it.
Well, I'm going to leave these lovely creatures up here for a moment so you can snap some photos, and I hope you have a